Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of our Ellie.Talks podcast, episode 18. My name is Julie Littard. I'm founder of the startup Ariadne Innovation. And today I'm here together with a very honored guest to discuss on a topic which has been launched several times on our Ellie.Connect platform as a requested topic, to unravel the complexity of EPR. What that is will become clear in a moment. And for that, we have the perfect guest today, the wizard, Jo Van Landeghem. Jo is Quality, Safety and Sustainability Officer at Creamoda. Welcome, Jo, to our Ellie.Talks podcast.
Thank you.
Can you please introduce yourself? Who are you? What drives you?
Thank you for having me. It's always nice. Okay, who am I? Basically, I've been in this industry since already now 46 years.
Wow.
A little bit more explanation. I was born in a knitting family, and from day one as a baby, I was used as a fitting model. And I took my lessons in the factory and the design that my family was doing over the years. I think partly there my passion for manufacturing and all the aspects that come with making a quality product came from there. My grandmother, who I saw yesterday, is still very much alive at 97.
Wow.
And still she was looking
Good
at,
genes.
what are you wearing? Is that quality? What brand is that? So, yeah, I think my roots really came from there. When you were asking what drives me, over the years I had the chance to work for multiple aspects in the industry, ranging from small designers to bigger well-known names. Dries van Noten was one of them. For Belgians, that absolutely rings a bell. Also for commercial brands, I also worked for a multinational retailer, an international one. And by doing those jobs, I actually came across to multiple different aspects that require really a rethinking. Because we used to make products with a certain quality, and quality had a certain price. But I think in the last 20 years, that completely went out of balance. Now it's all about profit margins and not any longer about buying a quality product, but it's about buying a price. And that has taken its toll, and this is what we see nowadays, not only in textile products, also in other products, that it's completely out of balance. Hence, I took myself the mission to bring quality back, and with quality you can make sustainable products, and products that fit more into our ecosystem on this planet and the resources that we have. And that is basically my passion and what drives me.
Okay, great to hear, because we have the same passion and the same mission as well. So you have different professional hats, I might say. What does an average workday look like for Jo Van Landeghem?
As I'm the contact person within our federation for all matters concerning quality, that also means production. It means daily production management, quality control, product design. It goes quite far. At the same time, there's what some people do not like is the safety aspects of a product. Mm-hmm. It's part of compliance, basically, where you look at what chemicals to use or not to use, greener chemistry to use, because not all chemicals are bad. There are also good ones, often forgotten, but they are there. And then at the same time, the circular economy aspect, because that is the other issue very often, is that people very easily use the word sustainability, circular economy, yes, we have to, and this and that. But it's not that easy, especially when you're running a company. You build your company or several generations of a company on a certain economy model. switching just like that to circular economy, that is not possible, especially not with the current products that we are producing worldwide. So hence, that requires a completely different approach. Hence, giving guidance to all the members that we have is also quite complex, because in a nutshell, 1/3 of our members are companies that either make or themselves, or they make products for other persons related to what we call consumer textiles. Some will call it, it's fashion related. Well, yes, you have garments, but yes, you also have handbags. Yes, you have many other things. Then another third of our members that are the people that make the same products, but professionally. The workwear, the suit that a lady at the reception desk is wearing. It can be a fireman suit. It goes very, very far. And then 1/3 is those companies that make all the other products. You may say, okay, socks, or still garments. Okay, fine, socks then. But then you have home linens. You have what you use at home in your bathroom. And that is quite a lot. Then you have those people. What most people do not know is that the Volvo cars here in Belgium, they have Volvo seats. Those car seats are made by a Belgian confection maker. There are so many companies still in Belgium active that make tents, both for consumer use and for professional use. Often forgotten, but they are there. Those people that make the protection over all the trucks that you see on the roads. And one of our members is also a member of our sister federation, Fidustria, Sioen. Yeah, they make the fabrics to make those protection covers over a truck. So, there's a lot of hidden aspects. That means at the federation we have to be very flexible to be aware of the different aspects of manufacturing, the different type of products and the different users and the different end users. Because there's the market of B2B, there's the market of B2C, and there's also the market of B to government, because they have public procurement, and public procurement should be normally within Europe green public procurement, but there's a lack of knowledge. Because of that, we have created Creamoda Technical Services, which I run together with my colleague Pauline Latruwe. And both of us, we try to provide information on tendering, on writing technical requirements for public procurement. At the same time, we do factory inspections. This is something new that we are also doing. For me, it's part of my whole life as production manager. I've done that's part of daily life. So we also now do that at the federation. And at the same time, if one of our members has an urgent issue, let's say market control, so market surveillance activities might send somebody from FOD Economy in Belgium, and they come to your store, or they pick up a product and they contact you and they ask questions. Is your product compliant, or your product is not compliant because there's a certain certificate missing, or a labeling missing, or whatever it is. Those kind of things take priority in my daily life. So whenever I get a call or an email like that I have to stop everything else. Whilst I might be in a meeting on writing new standards for product quality or product safety, or in working groups on circular economy. Julie, you're in there as well. There's a lot of them going on. So, this is in a nutshell what could be a day at Creamoda for me.
So do you sleep still?
Yes, I do.
Often.
But I'm not a big sleeper.
Okay, so you already touched upon the topic of circular economy. Today, I already mentioned the word EPR, UPV in Flemish.
Or rap in French.
Okay, I didn't know that, so I'm still learning today. EPR, which is actually also known a little bit as the Holy Grail when it comes to making circular economy work. Can you maybe shed some light on what EPR is, what it means, why is it important, where are we today. But please try to explain it, because you're a very expert on the topic.
I will
Explain
keep it
to me
simple.
like I'm a 5-year-old.
I will keep it simple. Basically, yeah, extended producer responsibility, it's more of self-explanatory in the sense that you take responsibility for the products you have put on the market as an economic operator. An economic operator can be a brand, it can be a manufacturer, but basically the person in the end providing a product on the market to whichever party, a consumer, another brand, because you can work for Zalando or for another retailer as a manufacturer, or you deliver a product for public procurement, let's say for the army or for the police forces, then you have a certain responsibility. And that responsibility is what you have put on the market at a certain point, the product will no longer be used. Maybe because it's end of life, but not always. Some products are end of use, but it doesn't mean that they are unusable afterwards. So I also had to look it up to see where who was the original founder of EPR. So I ended up with my colleagues in Sweden. There was, and forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but there was a certain Thomas Lindqvist. And he was asked, he worked for Lund University, and he was asked in the 1990s if there was a possibility by the government. They had very progressive, let's say, a ministry for environmental services, and they were looking for a way of, what do we do with those products that end up on the market? Do we, as a government or as a civil society, have to take these back? Do we have to clean it up? What do we do? Could we find some take-back scheme somehow? And this professor came with that proposition, and this is basically how EPR was born. It came at a time when, at the same time, in multiple countries, actually, end-of-life products management became a bit of an issue, because 1990s is not that far ago or that long ago. We all remember a lot of pictures or movies about waste heaps growing and growing in Europe and outside of Europe. Something has to be done. And then it was actually Germany who was then the first who in 1991 implemented a take-back scheme for products and especially the packaging. They were the first one who actually put his theory into practice. And then all the others followed. That's in a nutshell a little bit how EPR was born and how it originated.
So it's about taking back or limiting the waste heaps that we see everywhere. Is that the ultimate goal?
Well, it was also about who is going to pay the bill and taking responsibility. And in that sense, and this is still how it is today, with these EPR schemes or take-back schemes, you can either, as an economic operator or as a company or as a brand, you can say, okay, I will take the products myself back and put them to good use within my manufacturing, my production process, my new developments of new products. Or if you do not have the size, the capacity, or the funding for it, work with a collective system where you pay a certain amount of money, and on each project that you sell, the cost is already prepaid. So the taking of the products at the end of their life cycle or at the end of their use is already being paid for, and it's the collective system that does this for you. But what have we seen over the years that if you work with this collective system or this EPR 1.0, as we call it, it doesn't actually force any company to reconsider the way and the materials that they used in those products, because they could still put a very polluting product on the market or a product that is not easy to recycle. Look at the many fast fashion products that you find with a multitude of mixed fibers. This is not helping whatsoever. I think it's also a dream that we should make everything in one mono fiber, in one single fiber. That's also not, it doesn't make sense. We have...
removes the creativity.
Well, there's a reason why we developed elastic fibers to make a cotton fabric more functional, give it added comfort, so you would wear it longer and this and that. So they have their use, but dreaming of one single fiber, no, that doesn't make sense technically at this point of time. Maybe in the future we will have something else, but not at this time. So end result, yeah, fine. We have a take-back scheme, but most companies are not being forced, not even by the consumers at this point, or by the end customer, which could be public procurement, that the product should be more eco-friendly or less taxing for the environment or less using resources. It was more or less business as usual, and somebody else is taking care of the waste. Hence, we absolutely need to rethink EPR, and this is what we now call EPR 2.0, where there should be a differentiation in the take-back scheme between those companies that put products on the market that are actually designed to last longer, because very often people are being misled. Yeah, it can be recycled. Sorry, a plastic bottle where you drink water out of could be recycled in theory since the 70s, not an issue. But was it done? No, it wasn't, because it was not cost efficient and it was bad for profit margin, so they didn't do it. And it was a little bit the same in this story. So, there's a different approach needed. The companies that do the effort to make a product that lasts longer on the market, basically they should have a financial incentive, or they pay less for the take-back scheme because they tax the environment less. We will see less of the product coming back in the recycling centers. That's the whole idea of lasting longer. Those products that are easy to recycle or to disassemble, because that's another point. Disassembling our industry. Very often we in the garment making industry, as we call ourselves, we work with textile, we work with leather, we work with polymers, we work with metal, we work with whatever we need, or whatever is technically relevant for the end use of the product. Just like car makers do. They don't make the metal, they just assemble. And this is basically what we do in garment making. We assemble. And because of that, the components that we use should be easy to be separated again, so they can either be reused in its original form, because that would always be the best, less energy usage, rather than taking it back, shredding it back to pieces, and then trying to make it into a new component. Then those companies that put products on the market that don't last long, that are not easy to disassemble, those are actually causing the biggest damage. And quite often, those are not always the most expensive products. I'm not saying that cheap products can be non-sustainable products. You can also develop textile products that are actually of a pretty good quality. Price is no longer a good indicator whether it's good or bad for the environment, or it's good or bad quality for that matter. Hence, the idea is you modulate it according to the impact of the product. That is the basic idea. But that requires explanations to municipalities. It requires explanation to governments, because Europe has a Green Deal. the idea to transform our industry and our society as such into from linear to circular. Okay, yes, but that means we still have a lot of products that are currently still linear. They are not designed to be reused. They are not designed to be repaired. So we will still have two parallel economy products that will be at a certain point on the market, or currently are already on the market, that will require a different approach. And then thinking or hoping that one system will solve everything, nah, that won't be a reality. So, and I haven't even explained the technicality of what is often also forgotten by those governments, is that the chemicals that are used within our textile products or in the other components, most of them are REACH compliant. And REACH was a system that was introduced in the early 2000s to ensure product safety, because back until previous century, until the year 2000, we basically had a lot of people that were getting more and more allergies, problems with making children or having children even. And there was a worldwide correlation made between chemicals used in products in our societies or in the world. And hence, Europe took an approach that, okay, all the products that come on the European market and the chemicals that are being used should be pre-verified to see what the impact is. And if they are too damaging and there is enough evidence, they are removed from the market, or the chemicals are very much restricted. It also means that if you buy a garment today, it can be REACH compliant with current REACH regulations. But every 6 months, there's an update and there's a verification to see if there's new evidence, stricter requirements. So technically, that could mean that the t-shirt or the shirt I'm wearing today is now compliant. And in 6 months' time, it is no longer compliant because there are stricter restrictions on the chemicals that were used, or certain are no longer allowed, maybe for a dye stuff of the coloring of the black color of the yarn, for example, or something else. And that means when we have to do taking back of those products and recycling, there could be an issue, because, and that is another challenge that we currently have. I know that a lot of people are very hopeful about recycling. Oh, we recycle it, we chemically and this and that. When it comes to our industry, in textiles, most of it is mechanical recycling. The chemical recycling is not long. It's there in a lab, maybe in a test site, but it's extremely costly. Because what does it mean? It means, first of all, the product is no longer in use. Somebody has to collect it at a certain point. At that collection point, it needs to be sorted on quality. It needs to be sorted on type of material. And there it already starts. A lot of people like to cut out the labels that are on the inside. Oh, they are annoying. Let's cut them out. That means the person in the sorting organization has to verify, I have bionic eyes. I can see which fiber this is. Even I can't. I can have an idea what it might be, but we need lab testing for that, or technology to scan the fiber more closely. That means there's already a first bottleneck of fibers that could be mixed. If this is a mixed fiber, this is 100% cotton. But if it was, in general, very often for cost reasons, we will mix it with polyester and cotton. That means you have mixed fibers. That means for recycling and reuse, it becomes, for most people, too expensive to reuse into a new fiber. Because the chemical sorting of the two fibers is only on one fiber, never on two. So you always lose one. And there it begins. And this is just on one type of material.
We already had some podcasts on recycling and sorting. So it's indeed, the challenges are known very much, are an important part of this challenge of circular economy. Now, going back to EPR, to the schemes that we have today, you mentioned plastics in Germany, but if I understood, in France and the Netherlands, they already have existing schemes on EPR for textiles. Are those 1.0 schemes, or are those already new schemes? What is your view on the representativeness of that type of schemes for other European countries?
France was basically the pioneer within Europe as a country when it came to take-back schemes or EPR schemes for textiles. And in France, it's also something else. They focus on only consumer textiles and also footwear. While the footwear, most of it is leather or polymers, plastics. They had the time to experiment with what works. The consumers took a habit of, okay, fine, there's an extra added cost because it has to be taken back and this and that for recycling. It all makes sense. But it was only until very recently that the organization in France that was organizing this became the official PRO, as they call it. PRO is an official national organization that organizes the taking back of end-of-use or end-of-life products from a certain industry. And they became the PRO for textiles, and in this case, for consumers. And they switched recently to from 1.0, where you had a normal take-back scheme, that now they've switched to the 2.0 to experiment with, okay, your product is longer lasting, you pay a little bit less. The product is easy to disassemble, you also pay a little bit less. Your product is none of these, you pay the full cost, or you pay even extra, just to stimulate those companies that are not doing the effort and actually competing with those companies that are doing the effort. They have less profit margin very often. And giving something back by the collective system to those companies that do the effort. So there's also now a fund that is created that is giving back incentives to those companies that are doing the sustainable effort or making more sustainable products. So this is basically going in the right direction. The other question with that is how to verify whether it's easy to disassemble. It requires extra labeling. Some already might have heard of the digital product passports. That digital product passports, there are multiple European ministries, or DGs as they are called, working on that. And those DGs are now experimenting with different approaches of what this digital product passport could be, what information should be in there, maybe on what chemicals were used in the fibers, in the components, how to disassemble it. For example, there could be a melt yarn used inside to stitch everything up. We have a Belgian company called Tex. Their yarn can be programmed that at a certain temperature you can easily disassemble industrially even footwear or garments or whatever that is stitched up together. And it's this kind of information that is really relevant for the organizations that collect all the products that have been taken back, have to sort it out, and then send it to the most high value chain that is possible, because the whole idea is to create a higher value. Not, we call that upcycling, but most of it at the moment is still downcycling because of the lack of information or the products not yet prepared for circular economy. So France is really doing a good thing there, but they also experience that this labeling on the products and the calculations of the impact of the materials, the impact of the design, or the design itself. Was it a product to be used very long, or was it a product designed for short lifespan? That also is under debate of how to scientifically calculate that and who is going to verify all that information. So all of that is, that's part of my other work, is to see on European level or even global level what approaches we could do, or what we could learn from other regions in the world of how to solve this, because we need some science, and we need some technical aspects to make sure that this works for everybody, and there are no free riders abusing the system.
Let's maybe zoom in into the Belgian situation, and then the role of Circle.Tex in preparing for coming EPR in our country here.
Okay. Maybe some background. Circle.Tex was born at our federation basically when I arrived 7 years ago. The whole idea was, when I came to the federation, is to do risk assessment on, it's another part of my job, on the products that are being made by our industry and the resources that we have. I've been following the Club of Rome for many, many, many years. For those who haven't heard about them, just Google them. Club of Rome.
Club of Rome.
Yeah, they bring out every year basically calculations of how many resources we have on the planet of each material. Most of them are finite, so they will never be replaced. So once they're gone, they're gone. And in that, you see also the consumption of materials and resources on the planet. And then you see the imbalance of what is used, and especially by also our industry. The resources that we are using very often are finite when it comes to synthetic fibers, if they are from petroleum bases. And then you see that we are running into trouble very soon. Okay, what can we do? Maybe we reorganize and we create awareness about how we make our products, what type of products we put on the market. And at the same time, let's try to consolidate the products that and the resources that we use in a product. And if they are no longer used in the end use of the product, let's try to get them back and put them back into our new products. So we don't always have to use, as we call new materials, virgin materials. So, okay, we launched this thinking with our member companies, also with other organizations throughout Belgium. We are a national federation, so we speak with Flanders, Brussels, and Wallonia. And then basically we had a chance under the Green Deal circular procurement 5 years back, organized by Vlaanderen Circulaire, to test out and to work for a Belgian pro, in this case, for our industry products. We created traction, awareness, because many companies 5, 6, 7 years ago, they were like, what are you talking, from which planet are you? Really? Do we have to do, why? Consumers are not asking that, customers are not asking that, it's only added costs, why? Things have changed now. So 2 years ago, we officially created the VZ2 Circle.Tex. We did that together with the people from the, as it is called, textielverzorging, entretien du textile. So basically FBT. That federation represents all the companies that are doing your home laundering. And then you have also those companies that are doing the professional laundering of textile products. We also spoke with the people from Fabelsafe. Fabelsafe is the federation of all safety at work and products that are there to protect workers or even to protect you when you step out of your car because your car broke down and you put on this nice little yellow sleeveless jacket. And together we have been looking at how can we make this system work. Originally we planned that Circle.Tex as an organization would work with some pioneers, that at the same time we focus on 3 streams. We call it flat linens, so that means towels, bed linen, those kind of products. The second stream was then the typical garments, but then the garments as workwear. So what you would wear at the reception, at your job, the postman suit, those kind of products. And then the protective products, which are quite a lot. Could be a fireman suit. It could be, you have these caps nowadays that also provide protection with padding inside. Many different types of products like that. And it was also a part to explain to we have multiple governments in this country, so they all have their responsibility for their region, but they are not all textile experts or garment experts or whatsoever. So we had to explain via our system and our project, what are the challenges, what is missing in legislation, or what could help in legislation, what does it mean for companies, what does it mean for you as public procurers, what do you do with this end of life, how can you prolong these products, because these very often it is forgotten that the textile cleaning industry, they also have repair people at every laundry, and most of in the industrial laundries, they always have repair people, so they can actually prolong the life of your products. If you wash a textile product at home, but not according to the correct care labels and care instructions, it's very easy to damage. You can buy a woolen sweater. You wash it at the wrong temperature, it's end of life, end of use and end of life. So it's very easy to make mistakes. If you do that professionally, you can ensure that the product lasts longer. And it can even be repaired, something that most people at home cannot do. So this has created the traction that at multiple organizations within this country, the awareness is coming, okay, we have to work together. And we have to see that what we originally were thinking of, because very often, to be frankly, in most countries, legislation was only thinking about what they saw in the news by NGOs. Fast fashion heaps of garments. But there are so many other textile products, and it's not only fast fashion. They're not only the person responsible. We are all responsible, also our behavior. I can buy a fast fashion product and make it last very long if I take care of it properly. Does it mean it's bad? Not 100%. So there's more and more awareness coming. And originally we said, okay, we start with professional textiles. It's a smaller volume, let's say. If we make mistakes with the system, we can still easily remedy. But now we've come to realize that even consumer textiles, it's also there, very often made by the same producers even. The volumes are there. The people from the recycling industry also said, let's do it together. And this is now the new step we have taken. At the same time, our approach that you pay a certain amount in advance for the future EPR system, we dropped, because there's economic reality. And the economic reality is, as it is, war in Ukraine, energy crisis, that companies are no longer willing to pay the extra effort as a sustainable or a more sustainable company, because then their competition is not doing that, and they have an advantage and may become bigger and push them out of the market. So that's a no-no. So we've made our system now free, just a small administrative cost, and we try to do it in an altered approach that is in line with economic reality. That's now current status. At the same time, what do we do as well? Because I'm in Belgium, but there's the rest of the planet and it's round. So what we do here comes back to us at one way or another. With our European Confederation, Eurotex, we've looked at, okay, we are all working on national systems for EPR. We also need a European network. And this European network is there because some people might not know this, but the biggest recycler of wool is Italy. They have a whole industry. They've been doing it for decades, for hundreds of years even. And very often us, without knowing, we might have bought a new virgin wool sweater, but in reality, there could have been recycled wool in there. We never knew. It wasn't popular. Now it becomes more and more popular to say, hey, it contains recycled fibers. So do we want to set up a system in Belgium to recycle wool? No. We want to be efficient. Our industry and the companies that we have here, some of them are specialized in cotton. Let's build and support those companies rather than trying to compete as a small country with our bigger neighboring countries on setting up all the same recycling facilities. No, we need to cooperate on this. There's not enough funding going around to all make our own mini recycling hubs for all fibers. So that ReHubs was born. Some of our member companies, both from Fidustria and from Creamoda, were involved in the feasibility study to look at what does this network mean, what does it need, how big are the volumes, so both consumer as professional textiles, where are all the bottlenecks, how much R&D is needed, what kind of facilities are needed, what funding are we talking about, what is our industry composed of? What most people do not know, but you and I, we both know very well. Well, 99% of our European and global industry are SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises. They are not big multinationals. So very often they don't have the capacity to have sustainability experts, all kinds of other experts needed to transform your company into, or your products into, a circular product just like that. And this needs cooperation. Hence, this ReHubs is part of the network, and just like Ellie.Connect is part of the network that we need to connect offer and demand. And yeah, this is the journey we are on at the moment.
So all the organizations, ecosystems working together, collaborating on realizing EPR schemes, more importantly, realizing a true circular economy. Very interesting message. Also very interesting to see where every country is at, and that there's a European initiative as well covering all of it. We will definitely share more information on Ellie.Connect on that as well.
Maybe to add one more thing,
sure.
because you asked it concerning the Netherlands. Our sister federation, Modint, they have been working with us, learning where we made mistakes. They learned from France. They have now managed to have an agreement with they have one government that makes life a lot more easy. And they managed to get the support that very soon, in a few months' time, if you put products on the Dutch market, you have the duty to inform the national pro, the Dutch pro, of the products and the composition and the volumes you put on the market. This is something we are in Belgium still dreaming of as an organization, but it's very much needed to have an idea of what kind of materials do we have, what are the volumes, what will be the impact if we put in place certain legislation or certain incentives. This is part of the technical side. Meten is weten, as we say in Flanders, and it's really necessary. So this is still an appeal that we are now calling on people voluntary to provide that information, but it's very much needed that everybody does their part and provides that information.
As we did in a previous podcast with Carla Basselier, this is again, I think, a call to action to politics to also have a look at this transparency, which is really important to get into action as well. So really, and also having a basis to just inspiring, informing, connecting the ecosystem will be a crucial point to make it work. Jo, as we're almost at the end of our podcast episode, can you maybe finish with either a message or a question you would like to launch to the ecosystem and our listeners today?
Not a question, but an advice. Switching from or going to circular economy, many people and many experts and consultants will tell you, yes, you have to and you should and this and that. Absolutely agree, but at the same time, keep the economic viability in check. Because I've seen and provided information to quite a lot of people that came to us saying that, we have this great product to put on the market. It will be revolutionary. It will last long and this and that. All fine. But in the end, they made something that was so expensive that they completely forgot the market aspect to see if people were still willing to pay for that. And they lost that out of perspective. Taking back products will cost money. Putting in recycled materials, as I hear in schools very often. The students now have to work with recycled materials because that is good. No, design quality. Design products that are quality built, that are longer lasting. That is the best thing you can do in circular economy. Yeah. In the end, everything will need to be recycled. But focus on that and explain that. Put that in your marketing message to your consumer and make it verifiable. Don't make any false claims nowadays. We have green claims, as they are called, and there is market surveillance on that. So be very careful. New legislation is upcoming. So whenever you make that claim, make sure it's transparent, that people can verify that it's true. Yeah. I think that in the end, the people that have to or are willing to buy and pay for these products, that will make your business model sustainable.
Thank you for that. And I think it's a message where I already have finalized several times with that the best sustainable product that you can have is a good quality product, which is actually coming back to the story of your grandmother that you explained in the beginning. Just invest in good quality and you will have a return on investment, which is much bigger, both from an economic perspective as from an ecologic perspective. So thank you very much for sharing that message. So we're at the end of our podcast. Thank you very much, Jo Van Landeghem, to share some insights about EPR schemes. I'm sure that we will be communicating a lot about EPR, circular economy, recycling technologies, the coming months, years. Keep on inspiring, informing, and connect definitely for a more sustainable textile and fashion industry. For the listeners out there that want to read again, you can read a recap on www.Ellie.Connect.com/episode 18. And the next episodes that will follow will be the next Thursday the last Thursday of next month. But in any case, we continue to inspire, inform, connect on Ellie.Connect.com. So join the platform, join the change, keep on listening and keep on taking steps, and let's do those great things together. Thank you.
Thank you.